welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today I figured I'd go ahead and just kind of take you through my Erin Condren. I realized I haven't done that yet. I've posted a lot about Erin Condren, talked a lot about Erin Condren, but I really haven't done like a page by page flip through. So I figured I'd go ahead and do that for you today. So when you first open up the planner, as I'm sure most of you know, we have the vellum overlay page in the painted petals for the 2017-2018 planners. You flip that and we have a space to write your name and personal information in case you ever misplace your planner. I should really do that. I'll do that when I'm done filming. So next we have some inspirational quotes. One of Erin Condren's trademarks is to pepper inspirational quotes all throughout the planner. So next you have months at a glance, and these are the months that the planner actually spans. So if you buy the 18-month planner, the planner will include July of 2017 through December of 2018. It's a lot of months, so no worries about not having enough space to plan everything. This is good for long-term planning, vacation planning, just kind of gives you all the months at a glance. So next is really, it's a section that you can kind of use however you want it. I've taken on to use this side as my kind of class tracker. So I've finished the fall 2017 semester. I'm about to start spring 2018. I've also registered for one summer class so far. There might be more. I'm not sure yet, but if not, I'll fill, fall 2018, spring 2019, and then I'll be graduated, which is scary to think about. But, a place where I can see the classes that I've taken, see what else I need to take. Just kind of a quick reference for me. I marked this page with one of their mini bookmarks, just so that way I can flip to it really quickly. Over here, I've laid out some of my 2018 goals for this year. I covered up some of them. Two of them are fairly personal to me. The first I laid out in a previous video about effective goal setting. So if you want to see how I lay out my goals, how I set goals, and how I achieve those goals, go ahead and find yourself watching that video. And that's the goal that I talked about in that video. So, and you'll see remnants of that goal peppered throughout this planner. So the next thing I want to take you to, I'm just going to flip to January since I like this month view a lot. So this is what their month views look like. I'm taking a trip to Europe this month. So I wanted to go ahead and show you how I laid that out in the planner. So this washi right here is the time that I'm going to be spending in Europe. And then I also went ahead and put the cities that I'm visiting right above them. I put that my spring semester starts right here on the 29th. My mom is also coming to visit me in the city. So I went ahead and put that here. I marked it with this washi. We're going to see a show the night that she comes in. So I really like how this weekly view turned out. So this is, that's the monthly view. So this is what the weekly view for this week looked like. I went with a fairly minimalistic look for this week just because I'm not in school. I don't have a lot of hours at work this week. It was really a week for me to kind of get ready for Europe and start the new year off organized. I cleaned, I did what I needed to do. So I went with a fairly minimalistic layout for this week. So yeah, so on the first, I filmed videos all day. The second, I went ahead and ran a couple of errands that I needed to run. There were some emails that I needed to send, so I marked those out here. I went ahead, Wednesday was the only day I worked this week, so I went ahead and put that in there, and that was the only thing I did that day. So flip over here, and we see I marked off again, Mom in New York. We saw a show that night. We went to the Downton Abbey exhibit the next day because we are huge Downton Abbey fans. The 6th, I just wanted to stay in and pack for Europe all day. 10 days in Europe, I needed to pack. And I left on the 7th. It was also my birthday on the 7th, so pretty big day. So I just marked out the flight info here. So the next week, so I'm in Europe this week. I went ahead, even though I have things planned for these days, I went ahead and left it blank as kind of an opportunity for me to write in as I go, kind of a little bit like a travel journal, what I did each day, because things may change. There's certain things that I know that I've bought tickets for. For example, Wednesday, we're going to Disneyland in Paris, so I know that that's happening that day, but I wanted to hold off on putting that in just to see, you know, how it would look with everything else that I end up writing in. But I still went ahead and marked off that I'm in Europe, and I put the cities that I'm going to be in on those days. And then I come back on the 17th. So, yeah. And then you get into February. Nothing's planned yet. I start classes this week. So this is kind of like a preliminary what my class schedule, how I put my school work and classes in my planner. So up at the top here, it's going to say classes and work. And so classes always go at the top, and then as my work schedule comes in, I'll just write it right below here. For homework, I usually stamp in a to-do list, and I will just write down on that, in this box, the homework for the class on that day. So I separated homework from to-dos because what I need to do on a certain day is sometimes not my homework. So for example, say that day I needed to email someone, I'd write that here, or I needed to clean my room, I'd put that down here instead of anywhere else. I wanted to separate homework and to-do. I also wanted a system where I could write down my homework here, but if I didn't have time to do that homework that day, and I told myself that I would get it done on that Wednesday, I can write down here in do theater 110 homework, and I could put it there, and I would know that I would need to get that work done that day. So I'll just take you back into, weeks from the past semester. So to kind of give you an idea of what those weeks look like. So I'll mark off, the days that I work. Went to the DMV that day, apparently, saw a show that day, went to a party. I wrote in my work schedule, wrote out my detailed reading assignments for one of my classes over here. This class had crazy amounts of reading, but it was such an informative class, and I'm so glad I took it. And then for each day, I would write down, what I needed to do, and I would color code. So for example, this day, 2 different classes, same day, and so the marker, the pen that I used to write down, the class up here was also the pen that I used to write in the homework down here, so that way I knew which homework was for which class. Beyond this, my planner gets pretty boring. It's pretty much just the preliminary class schedule for my spring semester. Europe is kind of my #1 focus right now, so I haven't gone too deep into stamping out my to-do lists on every day, but I will do that eventually. So the next thing that I'll take you through is my notes section. So again, I mark this with one of their mini snap-in bookmarks, Erin Condren's mini snap-in bookmarks, just so I can easily flip to it. I have a couple of perpetual lists going here. So Lincoln Center Library to watch. If you don't live in New York, or if you don't know, the Lincoln Center Library, which is a branch of the New York Public Library, maintains an archive of filmed Broadway and off-Broadway shows that you can make appointments and you can watch them. So for a theater major like myself, that's very important to me. So I started to keep an ongoing list of things that I want to make appointments to watch at Lincoln Center Library. I also have my Europe to-do list back here, super important. My 2018 savings plan, which correlates to one of my 2018 goals, which I laid out in my goal setting video. And then some private notes, which I'm not going to show. And then they have their dotted grid paper, note paper here in the back. And they added coloring pages this year. Not really my thing. If you're into coloring though, coloring books were huge in 2017, so I can certainly see why Erin Condren would add this. It's just not necessarily up my alley, but if it's something you like to do, if this is something that you'd enjoy, that's totally great. So in the back here, they also have 2019 at a glance, which I plan pretty far out in advance, but certainly not this far out in advance. There's certain things that I could write in here. For example, I know I'm graduating in May of 2019, so that, I could write that in here, but I don't know my exact graduation date, so I'm holding off. But this could potentially be good. For example, if you know you're taking a big vacation somewhere and you wanted to write it in here, it'd be good for that. And then more inspirational quotes as always. And then they included some stickers back here. So just flip through those really quick. So those were some metallic foiled ones, some page flag type ones. These I coiled in myself from a previous planner. I didn't want to get rid of them, or leave them loose out somewhere, so I went ahead and just coiled them in. And then she has this pocket folder back here, again in the painted petals design. I don't keep a lot in my planner. I like to keep it pretty lean, but I do have, this is a tracking sheet for a couple of internships that I'm going to be applying for in the coming years. So I just wanted to track, deadlines, what they require, letters of recommendation, personal statements, emails where you can send them, the name of the internship, all that stuff. So I figured I'd keep that handy and accessible. And then there's another little half pocket here, which again, I don't really use. I forgot to mention the back and the front of the cover are compatible with Erin Condren's dry erase markers if you want to turn those into a place to store notes for yourself. They're compatible with Erin Condren's dry erase markers. I just personally don't use them for that. So that is a walkthrough of my 2017-2018 Erin Condren planner. That's how I use it. I'm pretty minimalistic when it comes to decorating. I primarily use it for academics, and I don't need a lot of stickers, a lot of fancy decorations to keep track of my class schedule. The people that do, for instance, no white space planning, I think those planners are gorgeous. It's just not the most functional for me, but hopefully this gave you some ideas about how to functionally use your Erin Condren planner. If you want to see more Erin Condren videos, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.